Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you two?
Great, thank you. How's your week been so far?
A lot busier than I thought. For some reason, I was like, okay, I could start back into work and it'll be like a slow approach, but it's kind of just been like, actually, here's absolutely everything, like hit the ground running. So, it's been a good week so far.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that goes really well. I can't really say the same, but I know once school starts, it's gonna be the same thing. Just
Next
bunch of.
Monday, it's gonna hit.
But I'm glad to hear you're doing well and staying safe. So officially, I'm Brooklyn, meeting you virtually, and then this is Madeline.
Hello.
All right. So we did have a few questions lined up for you, but feel free at any time to ask us questions or make any comments as well. So to start off, before the first question, we just want to thank Michaela. We know she'll be watching this after for introducing us. We know she just completed her internship at the Canadian Olympic Committee with you, and we're super proud of her. So thank you to her. And now moving on to the question, we're just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what your position entails at the COC.
Nice. So my position is officially the assistant of the marketing partnerships team. So within the marketing partnerships team itself, there's three silos. So there's the account teams, the business development teams, and then the commercial affair team. So my position, I support all three, and then I kind of deal with the team itself as a whole. So when it comes to like team meetings, organizing team specific events, or just kind of keeping our team moving forward, it's my job to make sure we're meeting all of our goals, our norms, our objectives for the year. And then within those team silos, so with the account team specifically, I deal a lot with specific partner programs. So for one will be the Bell Athletes Connect program. That's with our partner Bell. So I help manage the inbox. I deal with a lot of troubleshooting and communication, not only with our athletes, but with our NSO as well. So for each kind of account team, I deal with specific projects for each of them. And then I just kind of maintain those relationships as well, so that if they're ever like on vacation, I could kind of step in and it just seems like a seamless process. And then with the business development team, I kind of do a lot of prospecting. So with that or smaller subgroup, I kind of just inserted and found ways that I can be of use there. I've always had an interest in business and prospecting, so like looking for new partners. So I just kind of was like, hey, this is something I'm comfortable doing. If I start sending you guys like a weekly email, will that be helpful? And it is something that's helpful, and it's kind of progressed into me doing more research for them or helping when it comes to creating pitch decks and things like that. So I kind of just support in those initial phases so that they have all the information they need when approaching new partnerships. And then with the commercial affairs team, that's kind of like our licensing department. So it kind of deals with anything that's out in the world that is Team Canada branded, position, like where the flag could be located, is their name accurate? So I kind of work heavily in that department of just ensuring that everything looks good before it's produced, so that athletes don't have to worry about getting fined or anything like that when they participate in the games. So that's kind of a lot, and it seems like a broad spectrum, but I kind of just support on all of the smaller groups, and then just ensure as a team, as a whole, that we're just cohesively working together, collaborating together, and making sure that we're meeting all of our goals at the end of the year.
Wow, I mean, you were not lying. I don't don't doubt that you've been slammed with a lot right now, but that sounds amazing. It sounds like you got your hands full for sure. So we appreciate you coming on as well with your busy schedule to let us know how it's going and
Of
talk about your
course.
position. So thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's really cool as well that you have such a variety of different things that you can be a part of. That's definitely something that I think is really important. So our next question, so as university students ourselves, wanting to look back at your time in university, studying women and gender studies, being a varsity athlete, and you were also able to become the first female president of the Laurier Letterman Club, which is a great achievement. So first, congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now, do you mind elaborating on what the Laurier Letterman Club was? Because we are a little bit unfamiliar, and what being the president of this club meant for you.
Yes, of course. So the Laurie Letterman Club is a student athlete run club that gives back to the local Kitchener-Waterloo area. So we did a lot of outreach programs. So some of them would be like our reading and running programs. So we'd go to local public schools in the area. We would read with them or help make breakfast in the morning. And then we teach them about our sports. So because there's such a wide variety of sports, represented. We'd have like some baseball, some rugby, some soccer, and it was kind of just more of a time to get kids excited about being active again, but also ensuring that we're making sure that they're reading or getting a healthy lunch. So a lot of it was just making sure that all of the people that do attend our games or contributing to us as student athletes see that we're making sure that we're giving back and that we're very appreciative of everything that they've done. And then a big program that we did for Laurie Letterman was our Powder Puff tournament. So that is flag football in the snow, and it's all female. So we would always host a Laurier specific invitational, so just Laurier teams. And then we'd also have an OUA invitational where other universities, so we'd have McMaster, Queens, they would all come for a weekend and compete. And then we had like a trophy that everyone could win. So that was one of our big like events that like everyone kind of looked forward to that year. So when I first got involved with the program, that was actually the first year that female athletes were even invited to join, because historically it's just been a male-run club. So I kind of like took that and I was like, yes, like women are allowed to join. Like I'm always down to volunteer and spend my time giving back. So I kind of just did everything I could in that first year of being involved. And then when the past president was like, hey, you've been kind of like selected to take on the club, at first I was like nervous. I'm like, okay, wow. So this is a big step. Like I didn't think that this was coming, but I was really excited and honored because I was like, great, this is a great way that women not only are part of the club, but now we're leading the club. So it was kind of groundbreaking in that sense. So as excited and nervous as I was, I kind of just harnessed that and did everything I could to make sure that there was always a strong female presence and that everyone was kind of just more inclusive of what we could do as athletes in general. So it was great. I definitely loved my time working with that club for sure.
Definitely. That's definitely a club that I think is so interesting. Like, you know, the volunteer aspect and giving back to the community, and that tournament you're talking about sounds like so much fun. I would love to hopefully one day be able to be a part of that. But to me, that's still crazy that your first year was the first year that they included females in that. That's still blows my mind, but that's amazing what you could do and how you became the first female president and being as inclusive as you can. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good time. I love my laureate days.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, one thing I wanted to point out that I really liked was the fact that you were trying to get everyone excited to play sports. It wasn't forced or this is what you have to do in order to be healthy. It's let's have fun. At the same time, we're getting exercise, but getting them happy and excited to want to play, and then also incorporating that side of why their wellness is important without being like, you have to do this and just delegating that way. But so I really liked that point as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Problem. And it was great for the athletes as well, because a lot of the times when we were playing with like elementary age students, it was like, hey, let's play like tag or let's play this, and it like kind of just brought everyone back to a simpler time. So
Yeah,
it was great too for athletes to kind of not think about exams or school or practice and just get to be children and play. So it was great.
for sure. I remember those days playing tag or freeze tag and you couldn't move until someone else got you. For sure. Okay, so we definitely did our research before this interview, and just to kind of piggyback off of the previous question, we found this statement: using sport as a means of mentoring, educating, and supporting our community. So SHEMA too believes that we can make changes through sport, and as our title expresses, make allies. So do you mind explaining how you believe sport is a great way to help make the necessary changes in our world, but also provide the tools that we mentioned, such as mentoring and educating?
Yeah, I believe sports, in like my perspective, is almost like a universal language, because if you put a soccer ball in front of someone and they don't know English or they don't know how to actually communicate with each other, through sport, it's like you can find that common language where it's like, you don't even really have to speak to each other, but you know, like, let's kick the ball, let's like move around. So for me, I think sports integral in that it kind of like unifies people of all walks of life. And it's nice it's almost like an icebreaker of sorts as well. So when you're seeing like, okay, someone might be different from me or a different background, but usually you could find an interest in basketball or soccer or a specific athlete. And it's kind of that nice like talking point where it's like, okay, that's nice. We can now build a relationship, not just from our common interest in sport, but let's also build off and see where else we are common or how else we could grow together. So for me, that's what I love about sports, is because it's like that universal language in a sense of like everyone's able to watch it or participate in it and can bond over that. And then leading into mentorship as well. Within sports, there's that strong sense of like team and unity, where when you are a part of a team, it's like you need to make sure that you're working hard because you're catering towards other people. Other people depend on you. You have a team that's wanting to play with you, not against you, to make sure that you are all successful. So it fosters even within just the team dynamic itself. But then again, kind of going back to how sports unifies people, it's great to see like, okay, someone I look up to who's an athlete, it's like they were hard work and driven and determination to get to where they are. So it kind of fosters that same type of motivation of, hey, if I want to be like my famous rugby player, basketball player, it takes work. So it's just mirroring what they're doing as well without even having to really know them. So I just think there's a lot of great avenues where sport could be the first step into really creating really strong relationships with people, kind of setting the bricks for, or like the groundwork for, hey, if you really love this and you want to go further in it, you know, you need to be determined and have hard work. It's not just about having that initial passion. So I just think it's a great part where it's like, it's easy to kind of dive into, and it's amazing to see the places that it can take you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I love that you mentioned that it's not really about your background, but rather the soccer ball's in front of us. Let's play together and have fun. But it's true, even if, say, we're not playing the actual sport, say we're at a stadium and we're all excited and you look to your left, you look to your right, and you high five, and you don't even know them, but it doesn't matter, right? You're here together in unity, supporting and having fun. And it's true as well with the mentoring. It can be a team relationship, but it also brings into how important the coach to player relationship is, which can go on a whole different topic, but it's true. You know, it's really important both ways, because you impacting their life. You're playing a sport, you're together probably more often than you're at home, depending on what you're doing, whether it's rec and leisure or professional sport. So it is truly important. And like you said, the sport can take you in so many different places, can affect so many different people, which is why it's been great watching the NBA using their platform to bring awareness to social justices in the world. So I find that very important as well. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I feel like it also comes back to almost like a sense of belonging, similar to what you just said. Like if you go to a game and you're in your like Raptors jersey and you see someone else, it's almost like this instant connection of like, oh, there's a friend, there's an ally, you're high-fiving, you've never met this person in your life, you might not even ever see them again, but it's like in that moment, you both kind of just share that moment of like, hey, high five, great to see ya. And it's just great to see that too, because I've experienced that when I've gone to a game. It's like all of a sudden I'm best friends with someone that's sitting next to me, and it's like I didn't know them like an hour ago. So that's always a great feeling, to just feel like, oh, I belong here. Even if I walked into a stadium full of strangers, I'm leaving feeling like, wow, I made good connections. I had a good time. I met someone different. So it's great to see that.
Absolutely. And sport is such a powerful tool and has such a great impact on people's lives, especially I feel like all three of us, you know, we as athletes, as sport lovers, you know, it has such a great impact in the world and to so many people around the world and bringing people together. So absolutely, definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So next we want to congratulate you on starting your initiative, the Black is Me collection. We of course looked into it, but we would love for you to elaborate for everyone about how you started this initiative and what it means to you.
Yeah, so I had always wanted to do something to feel like, okay, I'm doing something specific to me where I'm giving back to the community that I'm a part of in Canada, so the Black community in Canada. But it didn't really spark like a fire under me to get it going until the incident with George Floyd that happened in the summer of 2020. And after just kind of like seeing that, and also just like seeing the response from the world in terms of like, hey, this is something that BIPOC people have been dealing with for years, but it wasn't until that incident really where it became like an issue to the forefront for everyone, regardless of their race, background, ethnicity. So that kind of was the inciting incident for me of like, okay, enough like talking about it and thinking about it, like I need to do something. So the Black is Me collection is a collection of clothing. So initially just started off as 4 different t-shirts with statements that I believed were strong statements that really supported the Black Lives Matter movement. And wearing it was just like a sense of like pride and support, to not be afraid to be like, oh yes, I'm an ally, I support, but it was more of making that actual stance of like, wear it on your chest, be proud of it, have it as like a starting piece for a conversation, like make sure people know that everything that's happening, the anti-Black discrimination is not something that's okay with you, and was more of a way to just make sure that we're moving the conversation forward. The biggest thing I was worried about was that when things started to die down after the protests, I didn't want, you know, Black Lives Matter to just be a hashtag that's like, okay, now next it's this challenge, or, you know, everyone's moving on to the next topic. It's like, this is a matter of life or death for some people. So it can't be something that's just trending for now and then falls off later and then it gets picked up when it's, you know, top news again. So the 4 statements that I originally launched my collection with were I matter, Black is me, this is not a moment, and I'm an ally. So that there would be shirts that people who are BIPOC could wear. So that's the I matter and Black is me. But then there's also shirts that allies could wear, or people in support. So the I'm an ally and this is not a moment. And when I launched on September 21st, 2020, I was like blown away by how much it started. I thought it'd be something where it'd be kind of like slow to start and then eventually things would take off. But right away, people were really excited about the t-shirts. And the biggest part about the t-shirts is I'm not really, like, I didn't set up to make a profit. So I still don't make a profit. It's mainly about donating money back into the Black community in Canada. So from every shirt that's sold, a portion of those donations go to cover the cost of the actual shirt and shipping. But then the rest of the money goes to a different organization or community or project that I'm highlighting that month. So each month I'm able to change to a different organization, kind of shed light on some of the great things that they're doing, and get people excited and see different resources. So it's also been a great way of just increasing that network, not only for the people who follow me, but for the people who follow them. They know, okay, start of a new month, what's a new organization that I might not have heard about? How can I support? Okay, great, I could order a t-shirt. I'm donating to them at the same time, and I'm getting a chance to, you know, wear my support and allyship on my chest. So it's honestly just, I still can't believe how great it's been doing. And I've just been excited to see that this idea that I had to support Black Canadians is now a reality, because I'm able to see it at the end of every month, like, hey, I donated to this organization and now I'm gonna highlight this one. So it's just been great to see. And I'm just really proud too of the people in my network and those around me, because I've seen an outpouring of support and it's just amazing. So I'm so proud of this initiative.
That is incredible. I'm so happy to hear that it's been doing well, better than you thought. So that's incredible. And I love how there's the 2 different sides to it. You know, people are able to, you know, wear their pride on the t-shirt and show their support, show their allyship, and also to know that their proceeds, the proceeds are going towards an organization. And again, as you said before, so important to keep that conversation going. And it's not just a moment, as you said, that is ongoing. So absolutely amazing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. I have so many things going through my head right now, like wanting to thank you because it was so great. I love that story. So I'll try and do my best to remember everything I wanted to say. But I really like the fact that you touched on allyship. So that's something that SHEMA is obviously working towards and bringing attention to everyone, because there's a difference between performative and genuine allyship. Like you said, are we going to keep it, oh, I support it, let me do a quick hashtag, or are we going to try and do something about it, whether like you starting up your own business or helping others, such as you bringing support to other organizations. So I think that was truly important what you said, and I love that. I love that so much. And I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad it worked out just like that. I mean, you never know, right? So unless you try, it's always going to be a what if, right? So super happy for you. And like Madeline said too, keeping those conversations going. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. We have to talk about it, and there's no reason to stop, because it's still continuing, especially with the unfortunate ruling in Kenosha. Terrible. So it's still happening, and so we really appreciate you and other organizations trying to help as well. And SHEMA is obviously here, of course, if you ever need anything to help with your organization or anything, please let us know, because we are definitely here for that.
Thank you. I appreciate the support. And I feel like you wrapped it up perfectly of just saying we need to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I think race has always just been this taboo conversation of like, oh, let's just not actually get into it, because people either feel like they might say the wrong thing, they don't want to be perceived as racist, but it's like we almost have to be okay with saying the wrong thing at times so that we can dissect it and then really figure out how we can move forward the best for everyone. So that's a big strong point of even the Black is Me collection Instagram. Like I'm just kind of bold with the things I say, and part of what's wrapped up in the Black is Me collection is it's also linked to my blog, and from there I share my personal perspective as a Black woman in Canada, where it's really candid and honest of like, hey, yeah, when in Canada, it's like we still have racism that exists. So it's not just across the border, but this is my experience traveling while Black or being in interracial relationships. So I kind of have those things moving at tandem, where it's telling my personal story, but also pushing the narrative through the Black is Me collection, in hopes that it kind of just gets everyone continuously talking or seeing that different perspective and sparking that conversation and refusing to let it be something that just kind of slips to the wayside.
Absolutely. And I think that's great that you almost use your story and your perspective through your blog almost as like an educational tool as well. A lot of people just don't, it's not that they're ignorant, but they don't realize how some people feel and what is happening in the world. So I think it's great to bring it to light. And as you said, yes, it may be uncomfortable, but as Brooklyn said before, definitely important to, be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you mentioned that your Instagram page was bold and we're laughing, but it's true. You have to be bold. You can't just hide or say little things here and there. No, it's been a situation going on for years and years and years. Nothing has changed, rather probably progressed even more. So it needs to be bold. It needs to be out there. We need to have these conversations for sure. So I love that your Instagram is bold. That's what it needs to be. So I'm super happy that that's what you're doing, because it's clearly making a difference. So you have been a part of this change, and so we're really happy for you.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So as an athlete, someone working in the sport industry and an advocate for raising awareness for racial inequities, you've gained a lot of experiences and knowledge for sure. So taking all of that, all of your wisdom, and striving to make changes for the betterment of the world, how has that been of benefit for your position with the COC?
I think it all kind of just plays into the building blocks of my own character. It's like being able to take that risk of, hey, this is something I stand for. This is something that defines me to the core. And that's kind of helped relate to my work as well. Like I'm definitely passionate about the things I care about. And I'm passionate not only about fighting social injustice, but about sport and the power that that carries. So that kind of just passion is like the driving force to everything I do. It's like, okay, how can I learn more in my position? How can I support the team more? I'm not afraid to ask questions and have those conversations of, hey, you told me to do this. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, how do we do things? So it's kind of allowing me to use that same like drive and enthusiasm I have to really excel in my position, because I'm just not afraid to ask questions or try something new, think of a new way of doing things. If I learned this is something we've been doing for a long time, it's just to say, hey, here's a suggestion I have, or here's something from my past like career endeavors that could be useful here. Like, how can this be played out? So I think they kind of work hand in hand, because it also deals too with like confidence. As this like Black is Me collection took off, I felt more confident in the things I was writing, the things I was posting. And similar to any job I've had, it's the more knowledge I've kind of taken on, the more confident I get within my role. And the more like almost like fearless I am to be like, hey, no, I need to take charge. This needs to get done. We need to get it done on time. Like, let's, like everyone, like, let's figure out how we need to do this because it's on our to-do list. Let's get it done. So I think I personally feel like I've grown a lot outside of the work I've been doing at the COC, and that's just kind of like fueled me in my passions to do what I'm doing in my job and really support the team. So yeah, and that's the first time I've really actually thought about it that way too. So it's kind of weird as I'm saying it, I'm like, yes, that is right. Like, you did that, you were confident, you felt good about yourself. So I think it's just taking that drive and enthusiasm I have and just funneling it to where I want to take myself, and then how do I get myself to where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, it definitely shows from your personality, even within your Instagram, like you said, being bold. I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. And I feel like everything you were saying kind of relates back to us continuing these conversations, because there's a difference between asking questions and wanting to learn more, than being demeaning and not having an open mind and be like, well, this is my opinion and that's it. And that it's over, right? So even if, let's say, you don't know something, it's okay to ask in a polite way. That there's a difference, right? So, I love your drive and your excitement. It makes me excited. Like, it's just really nice to see someone who's so passionate about themselves, loving themselves, their work, on the side, their work helping other people, but then also your position as an employer in your everyday life. So, it's definitely showing. So keep going. We're supporting here for sure.
Absolutely. And I love how you say that it goes hand in hand, your personal growth and your professional growth, your professional development, and you being able to bring that to your team as well. I believe it's so important to your individuality, and being able to learn and grow from other people and share your personal knowledge and personal interests with everyone else as well. So definitely love that. And our last question, we love to ask everyone this: what is your favorite part about your job?
Oh, wow. I think my favorite part about my job in this role specifically is just I have the ability to learn from so many great people, in so many different avenues. So like dealing with the account teams, the business development team, and commercial affairs team, it's like I have this like wealth of knowledge that I can tap into. So it's kind of like the little kid in me is so excited because I love to like just learn more because I feel like it betters me as a person and an employee. So in this role specifically, being able to work with so many different sub teams, it's like, okay, great. What can I learn today, or what can I hear more about? So I think that's my favorite part of this role, is that I have so much to learn and I have so many great coworkers and teammates to learn from. So it's just, I'm loving it. Every day I kind of like learn something new, like a different style of approaching a problem, or just even picking up on people I work with, like their past of how they ended up in the CFC. It's great to hear that and be like, okay, that's good to know. Like, how can I add those little pieces to my life and my career plan to just continue to do better? So I definitely love just being able to tap into the different people I work with and their histories.
Absolutely, yeah. Kind of ties into what you were saying before, sharing your knowledge and gaining the knowledge from others. And as we said way at the beginning, that first question, your wealth of knowledge from the 3 different streams that you work with, I think that's so important, to be able to learn and just know about so many different things. Because as we were talking about before, you can never stop learning, always be open to education. So that's great.
Yeah, for sure. And touching on that, Madeline, too, we always say there's room for improvement. Well, there's always room for more knowledge. Kind of goes both ways, right? So, and learning more things, you improve, you get new skills as well. So it kind of is still building yourself up as well. But yeah, I just love your enthusiasm. Like I said, every single time. It just makes me more determined as well, because I'm someone who loves to learn. Like I love to know everything. Even if I have my role, I still kind of want to know everything else that's going on, whether just to enhance my knowledge, but also like I love to help. So even if I'm not technically in that avenue, different perspectives help, right? So if I don't know, then I'm also learning. So then I can also change my perspective. I can look through a different lens. They could also be like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. So it just kind of goes all the way around when you don't put a cap on your limit. You just keep going, keep learning, all of that.
That's exactly how I've approached all of my jobs. So even previous to working to the CFC, I was at the Canadian Football League, and I even did the same thing. Like, you're always given a job description, but I was always willing to learn outside of that. So if it was either volunteering with different departments, or if I had the time, it was just like, hey, like I want to learn about data, I want to learn about event management. It was kind of understanding that I will never know it all, but I can at least try to see how much I can learn. So it's just not restricting yourself to, okay, this is your role, this is your list you have to do. It's kind of like, okay, but what else can I learn, or how else can I support? Because all of that kind of just pieces together. It not only makes me a better employee, but just personally, I feel like it's really helped when it comes to approaching things in life, of knowing like, okay, great, I learned this from someone that I didn't think I would ever learn it from. Like, how could I even apply that to my personal life and make things for myself that I want to see? So I totally agree where it's just always willing to like ask questions, learn more, looking at every situation as a new way to understand something instead of seeing it as just a challenge you have to overcome at that time. So keep learning. That's the best part.
For sure. If anything from this interview, keep learning, keep going
Yes.
up, keep striving, for sure. Yeah, so we didn't want to take too much of your time, so those were all of our questions. But before we end it, were there any questions for us at all?
Just how else could I support? Michaela gave us some insight when she first started in a position at the COC, so it was kind of great to see that she was doing such great work. And just even reading more about it, I was like, this is amazing. I love it. So if there's any other way I could support, if I could share things or anything like that, please let me know, because I'm definitely excited to continue this relationship moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. We're excited as well to continue this relationship. Yeah, we have an Instagram, we have a YouTube playlist going on as well. We're doing interviews with sport industry professionals such as yourself, and also starting up with student alumni and faculty, just to kind of get it going through this virtual time, trying to spread some knowledge and experiences for everyone. Just, I don't know, just giving them hope, because we know it's hard times, but there's still light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, we can send you our Instagram and YouTube and share it. We're also here as well to support you in any way as well with anything. So please let us know if we can do that as well.
Amazing. I'm so glad to have this conversation with you guys. I'm excited.
Same on our end. Honestly, it's just so great talking to you and just talking to so many different people, working different jobs and having so much different experience. Like for me, such a big takeaway hearing you talk about your initiative that you launched, like so incredible. So thank you again for taking time out of your busy week to have this conversation with us. So appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so I will send you an email later on today just to again say thank you. But yeah, thanks again for coming on, and we look forward to continuing this relationship.
Yes, thank you very much, and have a great weekend to the both of you.
Thank you. Thank you, you too, and stay safe.
All right. Bye.
Bye.